Hi everybody, it's Alyssa with Sin. How are you guys today? I am excited to be showcasing another use for the Shepherd's Care stamp set. This is from the Holiday Mini Catalog by Stampin' Up, and it's way in the back on page 56. Along the bottom here, and it's beautiful Christmas stamp set, but it is also very useful for sympathy cards. So as soon as I saw this set, I was like, oh, that's perfect. It has Psalms 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And there is an excellent Christmas related saying referencing the Good Shepherd, or you can combine it with, of course, any other scriptural stamps you have. I'm choosing to use the You're in My heart and in my prayers from So Sincere. That's a great stamp set with just sentiments for all different occasions. And I liked that the font style on that matched the font style of the verse that I was going to use. So that's where that came about. But mostly it's the Shepherd's Care stamp set from Stampin' Up. And it is in the mini catalog, and we don't know if it will carry over into the next catalog or be available after mini catalog season. So make sure you get it before January, when it will no longer be, when the mini catalog will be over. Okay, so let's start. This is a really simple card. I always think that sympathy cards are not really the point, the chance to make it all about my amazing stamping talent, right? But just to be simple, simply sympathy. So I'm keeping it plain with a thick white card base. A little bit, it is glimmer paper, which is on the clearance rack currently in Lost Lagoon. So on the clearance rack, I think it comes in 5 different colors, beautiful muted soft colors, and it's a very muted glitter, very very subtle shine to it. So I don't know if you can even see that. Hopefully you can see that, but it's such a pretty paper. And even though it's sparkly, we're just going to see a little rim of it around our top piece. So excuse me. So you can use any color you want really for your mat. But the measurements for that are, let me make sure I get it right. So the white or neutral piece that matches your card base is going to be 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then this is just barely bigger than that. Just barely, so it has a rim around it. So it is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so it's just barely a 1/4 inch bigger, which gives us an 1/8 inch border all the way around our white piece. So let's deal with the white piece first. We're going to stamp our main image, which is the shepherd. And he's facing right, so I'm going to stamp him on the left. And I know we're not going to use a horizontal layout today, but he is sized just right so that if you were running your card this direction, you could stamp him that way too. So horizontal or vertical. And I can already see I made a boo-boo here because I need to move him over to the left a little bit so that I have plenty of room to put my words down. So I'm just going to flip this over and try again. So yeah, off to the left. There we go. Now we have plenty of room for our verse. While I've got the ink out, I'm going to take a little piece of scrap strip and stamp my verse a couple of times. And you'll see the reason for why we're doing it a couple of times when we go to cut that out. So we'll do that just now. And while I've got the ink out, I'll go ahead and stamp inside my card my sentiment, You're in my heart and prayers. Figured that way I can use it for whether it's sympathy or cancer or something like that. I can use it either way. Okay? So that's all our stamping. Now we're going to do some blending. But you'll notice on my card that the shepherd himself is not colored. So I've done the background, but there's no color that got on the shepherd and the lambs themselves. And that's because I used a technique called masking. So when you mask, you are stamping the same image twice. And the second time I stamp it on just scratch paper, right? And I make sure that it's a little bit thicker paper so that it will last. So it's plenty sturdy. And you want to go around right on the edge of your image. So try not to leave any border on it. Like sometimes you're trying to leave a white rim all the way around what you're cutting out, and this time you don't want to leave any rim at all. It'd be better to undercut it a little bit than to leave some of that extra there. Okay, so the thing is, doing it on thicker cardstock will allow you to use this on a bunch of different cards. So even though it takes a little while to cut one out, you'll be able to use it over and over again. Okay, so you're just going to go all the way around the whole shepherd, which I've already done. And then, so that I don't get mixed up and throw this away or use it on another card, I actually wrote the word mask on both sides so that I wouldn't accidentally throw this piece away, because it takes a while to cut all the way around, right? And do a good job with it. So that is going to layer directly over your stamped image on your card. And you can hold it in place with washi tape or a post-it note, something that you can easily pull back off afterwards, but it'll help you hold this in place because you don't want that sliding around while you're doing your blending. So let's start now. I've got our blending brushes and I've got Petunia Pop ink here, which I'm going to first put on my glass mat so that I can make sure I don't get a really heavy blob of color. I'm going to get a nice light light color. Cute, a little more ink there. So I got the heavy color on my glass mat, and then I can just make sure I'm using my circular motions to keep it soft and blended with no harsh strokes. And I can go as dark as I want with that, but I want to keep it pretty light. So that was Petunia Pop ink, and now I'm going to add Balmy Blue. And same thing, I'm going to put my ink on the glass mat here so that when I put it on my paper, it's nice and light and smooth. There we go. Blending definitely takes a little practice, so I would definitely try some scratch paper and get the hang of it first before you go too crazy on your actual card. Okay, and then I'm blending those two colors together, the purple and the blue, to kind of get some in-between shades there. Cool beans! That's all there is to it. And now when we remove the mask, we'll see the shepherd's clothes are nice and white, and the background is not nice and white. It is colored. And I caught the edge of my post-it note here, so I have a nice hard white line here that I'm going to try to erase with my, there we go. There we go, we erased it. So make sure you see where your post-it note is ending. All right, one quick cleanup here of the glass mat. Love that. This is available from Stampin' Up as well at lissa.stampinup.net under Tools, I believe it is. Okay, then now we're going to turn this into a sympathy card. So I'm going to take the sentiment that we cut out and start cutting right underneath the upper line and right above the upper line. and then between the words. I love this because you can take a large sentiment and either cut it down in size or just make it so that you can use the words in a different order or a different configuration than they had them. Binds up their wounds. And then the reason we needed 2 is that this is really close here with the up and the Psalms. And so I had to cut down almost into the Psalms to not cut off the word up. So that made that one too small. So this time I'm going to cut right almost into the P there in order to get the best little Psalms reference that I can. And see how nice they stand out from the background. And then we'll just arrange these. Looks like I cut a little bit of the B there. So let me come in a little bit closer. That's where really good scissors like the paper snips come in handy. Binds up. So you just arrange that how you like it. You can put it down here if you prefer. There we go. Like that. And then the way you could just use glue to attach this, but the way I like to do it is with mini glue dots. And the reason for that is they are a little bit thicker. And so they pop up the cardstock just that much more that they become part of the texture on the card. So you can see it's not 100% flat. It's very flat, but not 100%. And that just adds a little bit of more emphasis and texture. Plus, they will never move again because our mini glue dots are so strong. All right. Sorry, my big hands are in the way on this little card. I'm probably covering it up 90% of the time, right? I'm not doing it on purpose. So I know nobody likes making sympathy cards, but when you have a set this pretty and this easy to work with, and this versatile that you can use on Christmas cards too, it does help make that process a little bit easier. Because the reference one is so tiny, I am going to use glue on that one. Little tiny bit of glue. Tuck that in underneath there. Oh, isn't that pretty? Simple, not flashy, obviously made with love, but not over the top, and very, very meaningful. So I'm going to put that on my little mat that we made. It's just a hair larger, so it will just have a nice rim with a very subtle sparkle around it. And put that whole thing on the card front. Of course, you can jazz this up with embossing, with more layers, more colors, totally up to you. But like I said, I like to keep my sympathy cards kind of on the simple side. Where did my tweezers run off to? Huh, I have no idea where the tweezers are. Ah, there they are, way over there. I'm going to add just a few of these foil tinsel dots. Just to kind of add a little bit of suggestion of stars, evening stars there maybe. And there we go. I've got sympathy cards to stock my box using the Shepherd's Care stamp set from the Holiday Mini Catalog. If you need a mini catalog, just let me know. Happy to throw one in the mail for you. However, everything in the catalog, and many, many more online exclusives are in the store at lissa.stampinup.net. This is my current host code. If you're seeing this at the end of September 2024, feel free to use that to add your order to a party. If you'd like. Otherwise, hostess benefits start at just $150, so it's very easy to have your own party and earn your own hostess benefits as well. All right, thanks for watching today, and if you're interested in more on the Shepherd's Care stamp set, I am doing a stamp camp on October 12th. It's coming right up. And I'm doing an entire hour-long presentation with about 8 cards just on the Shepherd's Care stamp set. So you will have ideas out the wazoo if you attend our stamp camp on October 12th. So go to Embellish with Lissa and scroll down a little bit and you will see a link to stamp camp registration. It's just $19 for 6 hours worth of video fun with my friend Christine, and I are doing it together this time. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this idea.